r/Nosleep. Posted by u/zoneoftheende. Never stare directly at haunted pictures online. You never know what might happen. As you stare into the abyss stares back at you. With the internet and sites like Reddit nowadays, people get their fill of adrenaline from reading scary stories and sharing paranormal happenings and findings all over the interwebs. A friend of mine, Steve, was one of those people. Steve was an avid paranormal hunter since the age of 16. He loved watching shows like Ghost Adventures and what have you. There was just an unparalleled rush from the thought of coming face to face the supernatural, and Steve loved to escape into a world where creepy and inexplicable things happen regularly. It was an escape from his everyday mundane school life. Time and time again, we warned him against going too far, but he never listened. About a month ago, he told us that he was becoming rather active on a variety of supernatural Reddits like r/The Truth Is Here and r/Paranormal. He was really excited about having found a repository of real encounters, and scrolled through posts for hours on end to satisfy his undying thirst for adrenaline. Soon, this interest turned into an obsession of sorts, and he would regularly stay up in the dark at 3 a.m., holed up in his musty attic reading about creepy happenings and viewing unexplained photos and videos. Said the dark, dreadful environment enhanced his excitement when reading these posts. As I was a fellow night owl, Steve would usually Skype chat me as he browsed these sites. I guess having some company alleviated some of the fear he had at these unearthly timings. 2 weeks ago, on June 28, Steve was up to his usual practices and I was watching YouTube. That night, everything seemed as per normal, until at around 4 a.m., he suddenly messaged me this. "Hey! I'm looking at this picture of this supposedly extremely haunted picture of a creepy lady apparition standing behind a suicide hanging victim, and wow, this apparition is freaking me the fuck out, man. It feels like it's looking straight at me." He posted the link to me. To be honest, I was completely distracted as I was watching a short film and disabled the Skype pop-up alerts at that time, so although I saw the Skype chat notification window blinking furiously, I did not open it. The messages continued to flow in rapidly though, much to my annoyance. Suddenly, I received a notification that he had gone offline. Frankly, this was strange, because we had agreed to stay up all night beforehand. That was when I decided to check the chat. "Hey WTF man, this thing is creeping me out." I minimized the page for a second, brought it back up, and the creepy smiling female apparition in white with long arms is not in the picture anymore, just pure darkness behind the victim, and some kind of circle below the victim. A cabinet behind me just fucking fell over. You there? Fuck, some shit is seriously going on. My attic door slammed shut and is locked from the outside. WTF, I see something moving in the reflection of my screen. Help. Please. Come to my house now, call someone, anyone, get me out of here. Fuck besides Colep. And then he went offline. Right there and then I thought, yeah right, sounds like some stuff straight out of Creepypasta. For sure he was trying to prank me, right? This shit just couldn't possibly be real. Out of curiosity, I clicked on the link. Deleted, couldn't see the post at all. I thought to myself, probably a faulty link or something. No big deal. That was enough drama for me that night, and I settled down and headed to bed. Steve had pranked me before, he wouldn't be giving me another sleepless night, not today. As I fell deeper and deeper into slumber, random images began to flash behind my eyelids. Steve? Steve was walking ahead of me. Something was different about the way he moved. It was lifeless, and he had a weird stumbling gait, as if his legs were being pulled by small hands out of the ground. His head was bowed low as blood dripped from his eyes, leaving a trail behind as he trod forward. Suddenly the scene changed. I saw Steve in his attic, moonlight shining through a small window, illuminating his crouched figure in the dark. He was staring fervently at his computer screen. Suddenly, a feeling of pure terror and dread descended upon the attic, and the cabinet behind him was flung halfway across the room. Little wind-up toys he had as a kid stored in the attic started moving on their own and crawling across the attic floor. The door slammed shut, and the clicking of a lock could be heard. All went quiet in that moment. In the darkness you could hear what seemed to be a muffled scratch across the creaky old floorboards of the attic. CRRK. CRRK. The sound grew louder. Whatever it was getting closer. CRRK. CRRK. In the dim lighting, a pale white dismembered hand slowly crept into sight, squirming behind the laptop screen. 1 finger. 2 fingers. 3 fingers. The hand began to claw over the top of his laptop screen as he frantically mashed the keyboard, sending his last words to me. In the ominous glow of the screen, she appeared, face lunging out of the darkness wearing that creepy grin. Her flowing long hair started to envelop the screen, devouring its light, plunging the attic into almost complete darkness. Everything went black right then and I heard Steve crying out in a bone-chilling scream followed by violent struggling, frantic footsteps and gurgling noises. Suddenly a quick flash of a female face appeared so close I could almost feel her putrid, cold breath on my lips. Her decomposing cheeks were stretched out into a wide blood-curdling grin, and her eyes. Well, she had no eyes, only bleeding empty eye sockets. In that instant, a terrifying banshee shriek shot into my ear, and it felt like the shriek came from a mere few inches beside my ear canals. At that moment, a gut-wrenching feeling of despair crept up upon me. A feeling that I might have screwed up and left Steve cold, alone and surrounded by darkness at his most desperate hour. I woke up drenched in sweat, goosebumps all over. I thought that it was probably just a dream, a subconscious expression of the unsettling events of the previous night. Just to play safe, the next day, I called his house to check up on him. His parents said he was out and I heaved a sigh of partial relief. But the next thing they said made my heart drop. Actually, we hadn't seen Steve all day. We heard banging and heavy footsteps in the wee hours of the morning and thought he went out for whatever reason. I then told them to check the attic as he was there last night and they said it was locked for some reason, but managed to open it with the master keys of the house. Suddenly, I heard the phone fall to the floor with a dreadful thud, followed by what seemed to be his mother quivering and screaming for help. Steve was hanging from the attic ceiling, face contorted into a ghastly expression of fear, eyes nearly popping out, with scratches all over his face. His childhood toys were compulsively arranged at the bottom of his feet in a circle with their heads removed. The police ruled it a suicide, but I knew otherwise. But what was I to tell them? That he had been killed by something beyond the grave? They wouldn't possibly believe me. But maybe. Just maybe. I didn't understand Steve. Maybe it was really a suicide. Maybe Steve wanted to be immortalized in the paranormal Reddit tales he'd grown so obsessed with. Or maybe she got him. Readers of Nosleep, this is warning to all of you. Do not tempt the afterlife, do not scour the net in search of cursed pictures. You never know who or what is behind them and evil is not bound by distance. Your eyes. Well, they are the windows to your soul after all. Heed my warning, or you might just find something. Rig HD beside you.